All right, so on to lesson 10. The goal is to wrap up the lessons by providing us with answers to the question, what do we do when things go wrong? Okay, now that we've been through all the drills, we've done all the fighting at the end, and just some notation. First off, learning to get a car down the street is not enough skill to get you qualified for the Indy 500. Okay, just because you got your learner's permit doesn't mean that because you can now drive a car, you're ready to go race. Indy 500 would be pretty easy. That's just left turns, right?
Yeah.
Daytona, not too tough. What's a tougher racetrack? What, that one in New York?
Daytona is actually one of the toughest ones.
Yeah, but it's just circles.
Oh, you're talking about like a street course?
Yeah, like a street course. I mean,
Yeah.
that would definitely, you definitely wouldn't be ready for a street course.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably do the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500, but you're not going to win.
Right, you won't win. Yeah. But yeah, doing like a street
Still
course with
knowing how to do bank turns, that's probably kind of tough.
call it like a GT race.
Yeah, GT race. I mean, you're not going to have a chance at all. Okay, so anyways, it's not enough skill to get us qualified for the Indy 500. And though we have more skill than most people who carry knives, death could be the result of finding out we weren't qualified to take on the threat in front of us. So that's the first thing. You know, when you look at what do we do when things go wrong, well, you better make sure that you're qualified for the depth of the water at the area of the pool where you're ready to jump into.
Yeah.
Is that a good analogy? That was a good analogy. On the fly. Remember, these skills must become conditioned reflexes. If we are thinking, what stance is he in and what attack am I supposed to be using, then things are already going wrong, right? Having just finished the course, we may not be ready to go out and take on all comers with knife in hand. We have been introduced to the basics of knife fighting, and our success depends on our comfort level and familiarity with the concepts. Of course, through this course, you're doing more than just the basics. The basics were over by lesson 3. Then we started getting intermediate, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We pretty much, 7, 8, 9, we pretty much were advanced. I mean, we're knife fighting with a degree of
intensity and skill.
Intensity and skill, right. So we definitely got to where I would call you, right at the advanced line. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So anyways, if we worked hard on all the concepts, we're a lot further along than someone who just walked through them, and that's the big thing. We worked hard on all the concepts, and we did all the concepts. I mean, there's really nothing else I can think about at this point. Whereas, like I say, if I was given this course, like the course that I gave Mark, was just get him through everything, make sure he understands everything, make sure he can do everything with a reasonable level of skill, but we didn't really pound on stuff the way we pounded on stuff, and just, we just beat the horse dead every time on every concept. So anyways, the first milestone is being ready. The first milestone to being ready is that we can do the area defense and attacks against the arm attacker effectively without having to think about them. Going through the course again as an instructor is highly advised. So again, that's the first thing I advise is, now that you've gone through the course with somebody, go take another raw person through the course with somebody. Again, that's Kodokan Jiu-Jitsu. We have senior teaches junior, but believe me, in that process, the junior is teaching the senior just as much, especially your first time through as the instructor. You pick up as much from watching this guy do stuff and having to explain it to him, and then all of a sudden you start picking up a lot of details. You're picking up as many details as he's picking up broad concepts, as you do it. So that's definitely critical to take somebody through the course yourself now that you've been through the course. And again, that's a principle of Kodokan Jiu-Jitsu. Senior teaches junior. But again, like I say, it's both ways. That works both ways. So anyways, when we can immediately perform an effective attack or defense by immediately recognize which is required the instant that Tori steps into contact distance, that is a conditioned reflex. Again, when our hand touches something hot, we touch it, we don't have to think, that is hot. I'm being burned. What should I do? Oh yeah, I have to move my hand. And then we move our hand. It doesn't happen like that. You feel something hot and immediately you know what to do, and that's get your hand off and look for where the danger is. So that's the way it needs to be. When this guy pulls a knife, you need to immediately know I need to go this way or that way, and I'm either going to come in on him or I'm going to back away and wait for his attack and counter the attack. And when I counter the attack, I'm going to come in with this attack. I mean, that stuff has to be like programmed. It can't be, you know, what am I going to do? That's like I told you so many times. You know, when somebody comes at me, I have no clue what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a clue what I'm going to do, because then I'm presupposing what he's going to do.
Right.
Okay? The situation has to evolve, and then I'm going to have instant responses come out. So I have no clue. I mean, like when those guys tried to jump me, you know, a couple weeks ago, you know, what would a smart thing been to do? Well, when I see this guy here and I see this guy hiding over there, the smart thing would have been to turn around, right? But I'm going to my car.
Yeah,
That's why I learned to do this stuff, so I can do what I want to do. So I start going down there. So right away, what am I doing? I'm looking at where they're at. Where's their positions? You know, I'm going down the stairs. I'm getting ready for the guy in the bottom. Well, the guy in the bottom keeps going. Now I start focusing on the guy in the back. Well, right away I start thinking, I need to do something to see if this guy's really following me. So I go here. Well, then I put the ambush on him. You know, and here I'm ready to take care of business, and he sees I'm ready to take care of business, so he runs away. If you'd have asked me earlier what would I do if I had that situation, I probably would have told you I would have turned around and gone the other way. I mean, that would have been the prudent, you know, thing to do. But once I get into action, well, that's where I like to be.
Yeah.
Is in action, so we're going to have some action here. But my partners, my sparring partners, got scared and ran away. Well, that's not my fault, right?
Yes.
I was ready, you know. So, anyways, you know, what technique would I have thrown at the guy when the guy got there? I have no clue.
Doesn't matter.
Would I just gone right in with a thrust that is liver, or would have I thrown a feint and thrown some kind of slap? I don't know. I don't have to know.
Yeah.
If I knew, that would mean I only have a bag of 5 techniques,
right,
and I'm trying to pick one out. I have an infinite bag of techniques because of the way this course is taught,
yeah,
and the way I've taught myself over the years. And I'm going to let come out what needs to come out at that moment. You know, I'm going to let the vessel determine the shape. Mm-hmm. Like water, that's water. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let the vessel determine the shape. So he's going to decide the way he's going to get killed. He just doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's going to put a vessel there, and I'm going to fill all the emptiness in that vessel with, you know, whatever it takes. You know? So that you need to have that in your head before you go hunting guys who are trying to rob you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to turn the table on these guys and turn in the hunter and all of a sudden realize that you don't have the right gun, you brought the wrong ammunition for the gun, you don't have your gun. You know, you don't need to find all that shit out when the big cat is getting ready to pounce on you. Is that a good analogy? I love analogy. So, you know, you can't be thinking about that stuff. The instant you feel the heat, you have to take the proper corrective course of action or corrective action. That's when it's a reflex, and that's the level of conditioning you need to keep things from going wrong. Okay? A little more. Conditioning reflex takes about 3,000 proper responses to a realistic stimuli. Okay? You can't say, okay, I'm going to do 3,000 reps now, throw the knife at me, and your buddy throws the knife like this. And each time you step and you cut.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, I'm ready for the next one. And this stuff has to be fast. It has to be intense. That was one thing I really liked, was one thing that you kept doing. You're supposed to be attacking me when we were doing this stuff, and you were going to a zone 1 defense a lot, and actually effing me up better than you would have if you just came at me with the attack.
Because then you would be defensive on me.
Well, no, because I probably would have beat you to the attack, because I would have been able to fill the vessel quicker than you were. Okay. You know, you would have been looking for a target, whereas I would have already acquired my target, made a decision, been in the action phase. You would have been like, where's a good target, where's a good target, where's a good target? And then I would have stabbed you 3 times. So that's where I think I would have had an advantage there.
Right. But instead you attacked me.
But instead, because I'm attacking you so quickly, you're going to your go-to response, which is an angle 1 or a zone 1 or area 1 defense, and just chopping the shit out of me. I mean, that was my biggest problem, was how chopped up my empty hand was getting. You know, so that was a bit of a problem. I was still getting the kill in a lot of times, but the plausibility of would I have been able to continue that attack, because you were defanging me pretty effectively, you know, would have been up for debate by anybody who watched the video. You know, would I have been able to finish? Now there were a couple where I know I did finish the attack successfully, but when you went to that zone 1 defense, you were pretty darn effective also. And again, that's, you know, That's why you force this stuff on, where I'm just going to jump on you attack,
Yeah.
because it forces you to come out with an immediate response, and that's where you see the conditioned reflex. That's like, you know, we go shooting early in the morning
Yeah.
at these events, right? And I want other guys that I know to go shooting at these events, and they're all like, I'll be tired. I was up all night. I was tired. And I tell them, that's what you want to see. That's the guy you want to see on the range, is the tired guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing,
Yeah.
who can't keep his train of thought going, okay? Because what you're going to see instead is what's in there for a conditioned reflex. That's what you're going to see, the conditioned reflex.
Right.
I mean, you know that once the bullets get run out and you're not sure if you hit a stop plate on one of these competitions, and you know, do I need to reload? Should I reload? You know, what's the guy behind me saying? When you're trying to think about that in the morning, when you're freaking exhausted, and now you're trying to do the shooting too, it's a little overwhelming. I mean, you get in that ooh mode for a second,
Right.
where everything's slowing down. It's like, and you're like, what the fuck's happening? But fortunately, your hands are still moving, and you wind up racking something, and then you shoot another shot down range, and then you're like, okay, that was the stop plate, so
Yeah.
I'm done. Or, you know,
Oh my God.
I think that was the last target, I'm done. If you're trying to, you know, do an IDPA event, I mean, that's where you want to be. You want just stuff coming out, and stuff just keep coming out to deal with this situation when you can't even think about it. I mean, because believe me, this shit has hit the fan on me 1,000 times, you know, approximately, plus or minus, you know, another 1,000, I don't know. But you don't have time to think about shit. You got to do the next thing in front of you.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Once you start thinking about shit, you're losing altogether, you know? And that's what's going to be in the real event. You're not going to have time to, oh, now I need to think about something. And that's what these guys, they want to be in that mode. They want to be in the mode where, oh, I want to be able to think about something. It's like, and how does that match the reality of a real fight?
Right.
Where you're never going to have a chance to really think about anything. You got to act. Your decisions have to already be made where you've seen this shit as much as possible to where you can make decisions. Not like, oh, here's a whole new situation. Let me just explore this concept and my alternatives. You know, you don't have that. You got to do something now. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, if you are exploring concepts when a guy has a knife pulled on you, what's the question we're trying to answer here? Things have already gone wrong. Right? Things have already gone wrong. Once you have to think about it, things have gone wrong. So again, conditioned reflex takes 3,000 proper responses to a realistic stimuli. Also, 3,000 proper responses must be done at close to the speed that we want the reflex to be at during the actual circumstance. You can't practice something slow and then expect to be able to do it fast under duress. Okay? At first, this seems daunting, but with little dedication, it is not that imposing. In 1 hour's practice, we could easily go back and forth with a training partner and get 240 reps on something like an angle 1 defensive counter. That means in about 12 hours we would be done with the angle 1 defensive counter. We'd have our 3,000 reps in there. Due to the similarities of an angle defense and doing an angle 3 defensive counter, you know, we would only require about 1,500 more reps for the angle 3, right? Same with the angle 2 and the angle 4. So now we're going to get there a lot faster on the other ones. And again, that's where I like to keep stuff similar, because you've already done so many reps. You know, when we were doing the pistol, we stepped to the left and drew probably 1,000 times during that course. We stepped to the right and drew 1,000 times probably in that course. So now, well, you've already stepped to the right 1,000 times. You just got to do a little different handwork instead of, you know, drawing the weapon and getting it up. But what are you doing? You're drawing the weapon and you're coming to a high ready. What are you doing with the knife? You're drawing the knife, here it is, and you're slashing on angle 1 from the high ready. You know, so a lot of this stuff is the same. So that's why I try to keep it like that, is to keep that more similar. And again, I used to, when I wrote this, I used to really focus on angles 3 and angles 4. You know, now I don't focus on angles 3 and angle 4. So really, we're only looking at angles 1 and angles 2. So in 24 hours, you know, you've done all 24 hours of training. You've done all 3,000 reps.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take us to do this course? Well, it took well over 24 hours of training to do this course. We're probably in the 80-hour range, you know, to complete this entire course. So, you know, and again, it's as good as you were at doing your angle 1 and angles 2 here, you know, under duress, you're probably there already. You've probably done 3,000 with all the shit we did here. Now, the best part is once you get to the conditioned reflex state, the maintenance to maintain that is very small or not even needed for the rest of your life. It's like you touch that hot thing. Do you need to train that?
Right.
You touch the hot, you touch out, out. I mean, that's how quick it is, right? Now, if you only have these trained-in responses for zone 1 and zone 2, what the hell else could come out when you're under duress? Nothing else, that's all you have. So how hard is the maintenance? Well, the maintenance becomes simple. Do you even need the maintenance? Depends on how good that guy is with the knife in front of you.
Right.
You know, if he's not very good, you know, you're going to be able to get away with some shoddy technique. You know, do you want to take shoddy technique to the prom? You know, no. You want to be at your best, right? This is the big night, right? So you want to be at your best. So yeah, you would want to practice. You know, make sure you've been looking at the girly magazines. Make sure you've been working the muscle. You know, that type of stuff where you're going to be ready.
This is the analogy you want to use?
This is a bad analogy. So you're ready to go, right? Okay, so anyway. Let's see. It has been our experience that after only 500 reps, we will definitely know that there is a great deal of improvement in our ability to complete the moves. We may already be in the conditioned reflex zone for some of the concepts and defenses after less than 1,000 reps because of similarities, again, what I was yapping about a second ago, of the concepts and the reps we have already done doing the other drills in each lesson. When we have trained to the point where we have a conditioned reflex, there will be a lot less chance of something going wrong when we have to do the move for real. Japanese martial arts use the term no mind to describe acting in a conditioned reflex. This is because since there is no conscious thought involved, it appears that the concept occurs without the mind being involved. Well, what you're just not involving is the conscious mind, and that's the no mind. I think I told you I was in a karate tournament one time, and I'm in the finals for this karate tournament, and I throw a technique at the guy, and the guy blocks my technique. It was a 3-strike, 2-strike, and a kick technique. He blocks it all. He's right near the edge. He's about to go out. And just in the flash of a second, I'm thinking, boy, if I could have thrown another round kick, I would have been able to score because all his shit is down here.
Yeah.
And at that moment, my foot is smashing this guy across the face. So I literally threw a right round kick followed by a left round kick, faster than this guy could recover for the left round kick hitting him in the face, and I win the tournament.
Nice.
So again, what I would do is I would come in with a left jab, then I would come in with a right cross, and I try to get his hands tied up here, and then I would kick him in a kidney kick with the round kick. So when he actually did the 2 blocks, he was able to get down here and block that kick enough by his kidney to keep it from happening, but he went down with both hands. And that's where he was like wide open. I was thinking, shit, if only I... And
you saw
boom,
it.
there's my foot. There's my foot going up there. And it wasn't me kicking the foot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not my conscious mind.
Yeah.
That was no mind. And that was the first time, I mean, I've been in tons of fights. And, you know, during a fight, you're never thinking, you know, what am I doing, what am I doing? You're just fighting, like I say, you know, just the stuff coming out. But this was like a conscious moment of observing the no mind.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was pretty bizarre.